There are some stories out there that they stick with you. They defy easy answers, leave you feeling a bit unsettled.
Absolutely. That sense of unease, the mystery of it all.
Right. And today we're diving into a few of those. Cases where people vanished or things happen that just don't line up, where reality gets blurry.
We've pulled together some really baffling accounts from the sources you sent us. The goal here is to really unpack the chilling details, the questions that just hang in the air.
Okay, so let's start in New York City. A vanishing journalist, Susan Walsh, born Susan Young back in 1960.
Yeah, she was an investigative journalist known for really digging deep. Her backstory is kind of interesting, too. She actually worked as an erotic dancer, maybe a stripper, to pay her way through school.
And there were rumors, right, about maybe drugs, alcohol funding, too?
There were rumors, yeah. But she insisted by 84 she was clean. And what's fascinating is she felt this experience, this affinity with the darker, more sordid side of life, as she put it, actually made her a better investigator.
Gave her an edge, maybe. So she's working for the Village Voice, and she hears this really disturbing rumor.
Yeah, get this. Human blood is going missing from New York City hospitals.
Wow. Her boss, James Ridgway, tells her, look into it. Could be a story there.
Right. But after weeks digging around, Susan comes back with something unexpected. She says it's vampires.
Vampires? Seriously?
Seriously. She believes a small coven, maybe starting with just rituals, had escalated to stealing blood in bulk from hospitals.
Okay, so what did her boss think?
Ridgway. He immediately thought she'd relapsed. Called it a bad horror movie, a fantastical conclusion. Didn't buy it at all.
But Susan didn't back down. She'd found stuff.
Oh, yeah. Turns out NYC had this whole kind of underground vampire scene, the world's biggest Dracula fan club, 5,000 members,
yeah.
A vampire museum, a research center, even a late-night cable show about it.
That's a lot.
It is. And she went deeper. Found this occult shop in the East Village. Met a woman who called herself the Witch of the East Village. This woman sold pewter blood vials, tiny ceremonial knives. And she told Susan, look, these aren't your Dracula-type vampires, not immortal, morphing into bats kind of thing. But, she said, they're just as dangerous, killing people for blood. And she claimed they had contacts inside hospitals to get the blood.
Chilling. Okay, so it gets even weirder.
It does. The witch connects Susan with this young guy from California. He says he has a fang-making business and a vampire networking service.
Vampire networking service.
Yep. And he makes this distinction, right, between fashion vampires, just into the look, and real vampires. Says becoming truly transcended is a long, involved process.
Okay. And did he talk about the blood drinking?
He did. And it's disturbing. He described it as this overwhelming sensation, almost like ecstasy, deeply sensual, like drinking a special kind of wine. He even claimed you could taste a person's lifestyle, their age, ethnicity.
That is deeply unsettling.
And organized, too. He talked about monthly HIV testing within the group, connections across the country, Philly, Boston, LA, San Francisco.
Wow. Who was involved, did he say?
He hinted at some pretty influential people. A Catholic priest, pastors, lawyers, a Citibank exec, even Republican politicians. People with the blood fetish mixed into.
And the hospital connection.
He confirmed it. Said they tested bags of blood for diseases before delivering them, getting paid large sums of cash.
And these feeding rituals, not always in secret.
Apparently not. Sometimes, yeah, dark hideaways, but other times, private dining rooms in Italian restaurants every few weeks.
And there was a structure to it.
Hierarchy, transcended vampires at the top, leaders, minions doing the organizing, and then the herd, people who consented to be fed upon. He compared it to, the BDSM community, that power dynamic.
Exacted. That's something.
But then he described something truly horrific, a sanctuary feed. He saw a young woman, unconscious, strapped to a table, tubes running out of her arms and legs, people just feeding off her at will. He said he left early. It disturbed him deeply.
I can imagine. So Susan's deep in this by late 95, early 96. And around then, things get tense for her personally.
Yeah, her pager starts going off constantly, every few minutes. She told friends she was really worried, thought she had a stalker, even mentioned an ex-lover, possibly in the CIA.
And then that chilling moment, July 14th, 1996, her pager goes off during an interview.
And she jokes, oh, that must be my stalker. 2 days later, she's gone, vanished.
Did the police look into the vampire angle?
They considered it, yeah, given what she was working on. But there's another really strong possibility.
Right, the other investigation she was doing.
Exactly. By 96, she was kind of disillusioned with the erotic dancing world, saw how exploitative it was. So she started investigating human trafficking rings, the ones supplying women to peep shows, strip joints in the city.
And that led her where?
To Russian mafia-run clubs. She found out women were being trafficked from the old Soviet Union, forced into debt bondage, basically. Her article on it got a lot of attention.
But put her in serious danger.
Immense danger. She apparently had numerous encounters with club managers, agents, warning her off, telling her there'd be dire consequences. One manager, this guy Marty, basically said girls disappear if they find something out.
Yeah.
Over here, the wrong thing. Like that Sopranos reference about mob control of Jersey strip clubs, you know.
Yeah, I remember that. So the big question is...
Was it the vampire cult uncovering something truly dark there? Or did digging into the Russian mafia's trafficking operations get her killed?
Chilling into it. July 16th, 1996. Seen leaving her apartment in Nutley, all black clothes, heading for a payphone. Then... nothing.
No evidence, no body. The case was closed just 6 weeks later. And weirdly, her ex-husband Mark refused to let police do forensic tests in her apartment, on his lawyer's advice.
It's just terrifying how someone so known, so visible, could just evaporate.
It really is. A complete vanishing act.
Okay, let's shift gears. From the city streets to the deep woods. Vermont's Green Mountain National Forest, an area called the Bennington Triangle.
Right. Known for this cluster of really strange disappearances, mostly between 1943 and 1950.
And the place itself has a history, doesn't it? Some local lore.
Oh, yeah. Native Americans used it as a burial ground, believed ancestor spirits would curse anyone who wandered off the path. The Abenaki tribe had stories about a specific rock there that supposedly ate the souls.
Ate souls.
Yeah, that was their explanation for why the woods there are supposedly so quiet, like eerily quiet. No bird song, no insects buzzing, just silence.
Trippy. Anything else about the area?
Well, geologically, it's got a lot of sinkholes, water erosion, so there's a natural element of danger too, besides the folklore.
Okay, so tell us about the disappearances. First one was 1943.
Carl Herrick, a hunter. He steps off into the woods for a moment, nature calls, never comes back.
And they found him.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
But his body was crushed. Ribs punctured his lung, described as being crushed by some ungodly force, but no sign of what could have done it. They found big bear prints nearby, but strangely, the bear hadn't touched the body, like it was spooked too.
Weird. Then just 2 years later.
1945, Mitty Rivers. This guy was an experienced outdoorsman, knew the area really well. He got separated from his hunting party in a spot called Hell's Hollow. And nothing. They searched it extensively. All they found was one empty rifle cartridge. No body, no blood, no torn clothing. Just gone.
Like he vanished into thin air. Then Paula Weldon in 46. That's maybe the most famous one.
Probably. She was only 18, a college sophomore. Went for a hike on the long trail to clear her head, wearing a bright red jacket.
Easy to spot, you'd think.
Exactly. A couple saw her round a bend on the trail. And then she was just gone. Massive search followed aircraft, FBI involved. Not a single trace.
It's baffling. And it continued.
Yes. 1950 was a bad year. First, Paul Jefferson, just 8 years old. He was with his mother at a dump site. She stepped away from the truck for a minute. He vanishes, also wearing a bright jacket.
That detail again. The bright colors. Didn't the folklore mention something about that?
It did. That bright colors could offend the spirits in the burial grounds. Makes it even more unsettling, doesn't it? Again, huge search, sniffer dogs, nothing.
And another one that same year.
Same month, actually. Frida Langer. On a camping trip, she slipped and fell in a stream. Went back to her tent, just a short walk, to change clothes. Never made it back to her cousin who was waiting. Vanished on that short trip.
So strange. It wasn't just in the woods, though, was it? There was that bus incident?
Right. James Tedford, 1949, a WWII vet. He was on a Greyhound bus, headed for Bennington. 14 other passengers saw him on the bus, saw him at the stops before Bennington. When the bus arrived in Bennington, he wasn't there. His luggage was still in the rack, his belongings on the seat, but Tedford himself, gone. Police even floated a theory he never actually boarded the bus, which makes zero sense given the witnesses.
It's the pattern, isn't it? All these disappearances in one area, different circumstances, but no explanation.
Exactly. People try rational explanations. The weather in New England can be brutal, disorienting. Sure. Mountain lions, maybe, but they usually leave some trace. a serial killer. There was an old story about an asylum escapee, McDowell, back in 1892, but he'd have been ancient by the 40s and 50s.
None of it really fits all the cases.
Not really.
Yeah.
It's that mix of the tangible people really did disappear and the intangible, the folklore, the unsettling quiet that makes the Bennington Triangle so fascinatingly creepy.
Okay, from the woods to the sky. Let's talk about D.B. Cooper. The ultimate vanishing act, maybe.
He's definitely up there. November 24th, 1971, day before Thanksgiving. This guy, mid-40s, dark suit, sunglasses, walks into Portland International Airport.
Just looks like a regular businessman.
Pretty much. Buys a one-way ticket to Seattle on Northwest Orient Airlines, gives the name Dan Cooper, boards the Boeing 727, sits in the back, orders a bourbon and soda. Calm as anything. Shortly after takeoff, he passes a note to the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner. She initially ignores it, thinks he's hitting on her. He leans in, tells her, "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb."
Chilling. Did he show her?
He did. Opened his briefcase, just enough for her to see what looked like 8 red cylinders, wires, a battery. His demands were very clear.
Which were?
$200,000 in negotiable American currency, 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve, and a fuel truck, ready when they landed in Seattle.
And his demeanor through all this.
That's one of the strangest parts. Schaffner described him as calm, well-spoken, even polite. He paid for his drink, offered to buy food for the crew. No ranting, no political agenda, which was common in hijackings back then, just business.
Just wanted the money.
Exactly. So they land in Seattle, FBI scrambles to get the cash. Cooper is specific. He wants it in unmarked $20 bills. He tells the pilot to taxi to a remote, well-lit part of the tarmac. And importantly, he has the cabin window shades closed. Why?
To prevent snipers.
Precisely. Very calculated. Once the money and parachutes are delivered via the rear stairs, another specific instruction. He lets all the passengers and some of the crew go.
Okay, so he has the money, the parachutes. What next?
He tells the remaining crew his new destination, Mexico City. But during refueling, he outlines very specific flight instructions.
This is where his knowledge comes in, right?
Absolutely. He knew way too much about that specific plane, the Boeing 727. He demanded they fly below 10,000 feet, landing gear down, wing flaps at 15 degrees, and crucially, with the cabin unpressurized and the rear air stairs down.
And that rear staircase thing was unusual.
Very. The fact that it could be open mid-flight wasn't common knowledge, not told to civilian passengers. He even argued with an FAA official on the ground who tried to tell him it wasn't safe to take off like that. Cooper knew better. It suggests serious planning, maybe an aviation background.
So they take off again, heading south.
Yet tailed by 2 F-106 fighter jets, though Cooper likely couldn't see them. He orders the remaining crew into the cockpit. The last they saw of him, he was tying something, probably the money bag, around his waist. Then he lowered the rear stairs.
And somewhere over southwestern Washington.
Around 8:00 p.m., not 1:15 p.m. as sometimes reported, somewhere between Seattle and Reno, likely over rugged, wooded terrain in stormy weather. He jumped.
Into the night. With $200,000, what happened then?
Chaos. One of the biggest manhunts in U.S. history. They checked out over 800 suspects in the first 5 years alone. The name D.B. Cooper actually came from a misunderstanding. A reporter misheard the name of an early suspect who was quickly cleared, but it stuck.
Did they ever find anything?
Very, very little. The biggest break came almost 9 years later, February 1980. A young boy camping with his family found 3 bundles of rotting cash on the banks of the Columbia River.
The ransom money.
Serial numbers matched. About $5,800 worth. But badly damaged. No other bills have ever surfaced. He also left behind his black clip-on tie on the plane, a mother-of-pearl tie clip, and 2 of the 4 parachutes.
Wait, he left parachutes behind.
He did. One of the reserve chutes he was given was actually a non-functional training chute, sewn shut. Whether he knew that or if it was accidental is debated. The FBI said it was given by mistake.
So many questions. Who was he? Why the name Dan Cooper?
That name is a clue, maybe. There was a Belgian comic book hero, popular in French Canada but not the U.S., named Dan Cooper. He was a Royal Canadian Air Force test pilot, often shown parachuting.
So maybe he was Canadian. Mexico City was a fake destination.
It's a theory. And his request for negotiable American currency sounds a bit odd for an American. Perhaps maybe he planned to head north, not south.
And did he survive the jump?
The FBI generally believed he probably didn't. Jumping into a freezing storm at night over rough terrain, possibly with a faulty chute. The odds were terrible. Survival would likely have needed an accomplice on the ground, perfect timing, and there's zero evidence of that.
Still, the planning was so meticulous up to that point. How could he overlook the jump conditions? Or maybe he didn't.
Exactly. What drove him? desperation. Was he ex-military, ex-CIA? His knowledge was so specific. The case was officially closed in 2016, unsolved. The legend just lives on.
Truly one of the great modern mysteries. Okay, one last case for today. This one is more recent, and the footage is just haunting. Lars Mittank.
Yeah, this happened in 2014. Lars was a 28-year-old German guy on vacation with friends in Golden Sands, Bulgaria, a popular resort town.
Just a regular guy's trip.
Started that way. But he got into a bar fight, apparently over football rivalries. Ended up with a ruptured eardrum.
Ouch. So he couldn't fly home.
Doctor said no. Risk of complications. So his friends flew back as scheduled, and Lars stayed behind alone to recover for a bit.
And that's when things went wrong.
Very wrong. The day after his friends left, his behavior became really erratic. Hotel security cameras show him pacing corridors, looking agitated, peering out of windows. He seemed paranoid.
Paranoid about what?
He started accusing hotel staff, other guests, of plotting against him. Nearly got violent. He was eventually asked to leave the hotel.
Where did he go?
Well, before he left, he made this incredibly frantic phone call to his mother back in Germany.
What did he say?
She said he was whispering, sounded terrified, said 4 men, maybe the guys from the bar fight, were trying to kill him. She told her to cancel his credit cards immediately, said they could track him that way.
Okay, this is intense. So he leaves the hotel.
And on July 8th, he goes to Varna Airport. Seems like he's decided to risk flying home anyway. But at the airport, witnesses said he became really flustered again, scared, looked around like he saw something or someone that frightened him. He backed away from the check-in counter.
Didn't even try to get on a plane.
Nope. Instead, he went to the airport's medical center. But the doctor there said he seemed incredibly jumpy, paranoid, like he was hiding. But he didn't ask for any medical help, just seemed scared.
Waiting for something or hiding from something.
It seemed like hiding. Then about 45 minutes later, something happens. Airport CCTV captures it all.
What?
A construction worker walks towards the medical area. Doesn't seem threatening, just a guy in uniform. But seeing him apparently triggered Lars.
Triggered him how?
He bolts, just absolutely bolts out of the medical office, leaves his backpack, his phone, his wallet, everything behind.
And the cameras followed him?
They did. The footage is chilling. He sprints out of the terminal building, runs full speed across a 2-lane highway, dodging cars, climbs over an 8-foot barbed wire fence with incredible speed and agility.
Wow.
Then he runs across a meadow and disappears into this huge field of sunflowers, easily taller than him. Beyond the field were dense woods.
And that was it.
That was the last anyone ever saw of Lars Mittank.
Did the police find anything? Was he being chased?
Police investigated, checked the footage. No sign anyone was following him out of the airport. The guys from the bar fight back at the resort. They had solid alibis. They weren't involved.
So what could it have been? Drugs? A sudden psychotic break?
Those are the main theories. Maybe he was involved in something shady, like being a drug mule, and things went wrong. Or maybe the injury, the medication, triggered some kind of acute paranoia or psychosis.
But he had no history of mental illness.
None whatsoever, according to his family. That's what makes it so baffling. We have all this footage, the phone call, we see his terror, but we have absolutely no idea why. Only 2 things seem certain: no prior mental health issues, and he was never seen again.
The footage is just... the panic in his run, it's unforgettable.
It really is. So much evidence, yet 0 answers. A complete mystery fueled by visible terror.
So we've covered quite a bit. A journalist may be getting too close to the truth in NYC's underbelly, these strange disappearances in the Vermont woods, a skyjacker pulling off an impossible escape, and a young man's terrifying final run in Bulgaria.
Yeah, they really highlight how unsettling true mysteries can be, don't they? Cases where the facts just don't add up, where explanations fall short.
You look at human motives, like with Susan Walsh or D.B. Cooper. You look at the environment, like the Bennington Triangle. Or maybe a sudden internal shift, like with Lars Mittank. But what is it about these stories that really gets under your skin?
I think maybe it's the lack of closure, obviously, but it's also that chilling thought that something truly inexplicable, whether it's random chance or something deliberate and hidden, could just happen to anyone, anywhere, and leave nothing behind but questions.
That's a really unsettling thought to end on. We definitely encourage you, our listeners, to think about these cases, maybe even look into them more yourselves. There's always more digging to do.
Absolutely.
And if you found these stories as compelling and chilling as we did, please do give us a like, share this with fellow mystery lovers, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docx. We'll be back with more unsettling deep dives.
Until then, stay curious.
Stay curious, stay informed, and yeah, keep a close eye on those details. You never know what you might find.